Let's synchronize some graphics with some audio here. I have some items in my library that I'm going to use. I have some audio here. Let's check out the audio. We can right click on it and go down to properties and see what it is. And it is a track that lasts 7.6 seconds. And I know my frame rate is 24 frames a second. So that's going to be about 183 frames or so that I'm going to need. So I'm going to actually go ahead and drag this onto my timeline, onto the stage, and that puts it on the timeline. And let's go out to 183 or so, or thereabouts frames. And I'm going to press F5 on the keyboard. And that brings my audio out to that length of time. I'm going to name the track audio. We'll name the layer audio. On top of that, I'm going to put my graphics. Now I need to determine where I need to put my graphics in relation to the audio. So I'm going to select the first keyframe in the audio layer, and I'm going to take a look at my properties. And for sync, I want it to be set to stream so that I can hear when I drag the playhead, I can hear the audio. I can also look in the library and I can actually play the audio from here. We might be talking about some apples, maybe some green beans, and possibly some squash. Okay, so those are the items that I'm going to put on the graphics timeline. I believe this is where I begin to say apples. And so I'm going to insert a blank keyframe here. I can actually take the keyframe that I have to the left and put it at about frame 43. And there I can actually get my apple symbol from the library and drag it onto the stage. I can tell that I'm about to say green beans right about here. Let's move this up a little bit so I can see. And so in frame 89 or thereabouts, I'm going to put another blank keyframe. I can actually drag the one from up here. Green, sounds like it's actually coming from here, green. So I'm going to move this up here, and I will drag the symbol for green beans out onto the stage. Okay, and let's scroll down a little farther. I'm starting to say squash right there. So I'm going to also, right here, I'm going to hold down the cursor and I'm going to insert a blank keyframe. And I will put the picture of the squash right here. And now let's test the movie. We might be talking about some apples, maybe some green beans, and possibly some squash. We might be talking about some apples, so that worked pretty well. Maybe some green beans, and possibly some squash. So it's just that easy actually to put audio on the timeline. Of course, you don't want to do this for extensive lengths of time. It creates a fairly large Swift file. But for short segments where you need to actually synchronize graphics and audio, works pretty well.